So, Dr. Ross, the kind of project that I'm working on is getting information for folks who are unfamiliar with, I guess, vision issues that haven't been explored before and how it's having an impact on students and their educational career and just their overall quality of life. What I'd like to concentrate on for us is you told this really great story about your quality of life and when it changed when you addressed your vision issue.
I was born with very acute near vision issues. I don't know, we used to call it being nearsighted. There's a new fancy word for it I noticed the last time I went to the optometrist. What is it?
I'm not sure.
Hypo something, or it's one of those long words. Anyway, I call it nearsightedness. And but we didn't recognize it because you can see things close up. And when I started school, I'm a little go-getter, so I always sat in the front row. So it didn't affect my being able to do things in the classroom because I could see right in the front row. And for some reason, I'm not exactly too sure what, something happened that my parents took me to an optometrist when I was in the 4th grade. And they tested my vision. Whoa, you need glasses immediately. And I immediately noticed some differences that were exciting, that I could see across the yard where the cat was, or just little things in my life. But when it really hit me as to what this change was, happened in that summer. We, as a family, we did a lot of going out in the woods camping, because I grew up in Seattle. And so we went up to, I still remember exactly where it was, near Lake Wenatchee, and that's way in the middle of the woods there. And consequently, there's no artificial lights around, no cities around or anything. You're way far from the city of Wenatchee, way up there. And in previous camping trips and so forth, we'd always look at the stars at night, and what I saw was a few big, bright stars, the brightest stars, and then I'd hear my father saying, yes, look up there now, you girls, look up at those stars. Oh, look at the Milky Way, look at how beautiful that is. And I thought that he was saying the Milky Way was something you knew that was up there because you read about it in a book. And when we got home, we looked up about the stars, and here's all, the Milky Way is all these tiny shining stars, thousands of them. But I'd never seen that, and I didn't think anybody else was seeing it. I just thought my father was pointing to where it would be if somehow you were up in a satellite or something seeing it. So the first time we went on this camping trip, after I had the glasses, and it got dark and time to look at the stars, and we looked up there, and my dad said the same thing. Oh, look at the Milky Way. And I looked over there, and I was just totally blown away. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't imagine that I had missed seeing all that, but I couldn't imagine how beautiful that was. All those thousands of little twinkling stars that you could see up there. And so from that day on, I just remember how important it was that I got glasses. And I've always thought about people who didn't have help with whatever their vision issue was, that how much they were missing.
Wonderful. And I forgot what event we were at, and I heard you tell that story, and that really made me think about a lot of other folks with not much access to vision care or vision therapy, on how so much they're missing out. And I thought that was a really, really wonderful story. And now I'm going to ask you a couple questions, just in general,
Sure.
About just what's going on. Oh, and I'll give you a little information too. One thing is that a lot of folks are being held back educational-wise, or being put in like remedial or special ed programs on the basis that they believe that they're not cognitively developed enough to understand what's going on in school. But really what's going on is that they just can't see. What are your thoughts on stuff like that?
Well, I think what's hard for people to remember is if a person has, if a little person has some malfunction of some aspect of their vision equipment, like, you know, the brain not knowing how to put the input from the two eyes together, then that person has, that's the way they think everyone sees the world. And so, you know, you think, well, like in my case, you think, well, why didn't I say, well, no, Daddy, I can't see the milk. What do you mean the Milky Way? I can't see it. And then they would have had a hint that I had an eye problem. But it didn't occur to me. I mean, I just interpreted what they were saying in light of what I could see, because I thought that's the way everybody saw things. So especially with this convergence issue, and with kids and their ability to learn to read, and how it influences you so much, if the two eyes can't hold together to see words consecutively instead of, you know, bouncing them around or wiggling them or something, because the two eyes, the brain hasn't yet figured out how to put them together. You know, they think that's what everybody's seeing, and so they don't know how to say, you know, I have a problem seeing. Could you help me? So then I know I'd read better if my eyes did this and so. How would they know that? And I think since most adults, the majority of people, gradually develop that by the age of 2, just kind of automatically, then we don't remember what it was like before the age of 2 when we couldn't do that, and we don't understand why that person isn't saying something about it. So the really important thing in this effort, I think, is to educate adults, especially educators, about picking up little clues that there's something besides just their cognitive ability or their willingness to pay attention. Those aren't the issues. So if adults can pick up little signs, and now the efforts to teach adults how to watch for those signs, that's why it's so important.